Control freaks, brace yourself. The news is out. All you senior leaders who've been working so hard to drive accountability in your organisations, you're the reason it's not working. What? The world's most successful brands don't just deliver great products and service, they make us love what they stand for. They have a talent for projecting their personality, and even when things go wrong, we still believe in them. But some companies are getting it wrong in a way that has lost our trust. They might be impressive brands with great business results and global strategies, but the scandals keep on coming. What allows some companies to make the right decisions to keep us loving them and others to get it so badly wrong? You can't turn sideways these days without seeing a headline about some alleged corporate scandal, whether it's Volkswagen and the falsified emissions testing, or whether it's United Airlines being absolutely skewered for forcibly removing a passenger from a plane. So while we all know that there's a lot more complexity to what goes on than you read in the headlines of media, nonetheless, tried in the court of public opinion, the verdict for these scandals is swift and harsh, and it comes down way before the facts of any particular incident are known. So you get viral hashtags trending like hashtag don't fly United and hashtag delete Uber. And the reality is, in today's world, whether that all of the information that comes out is accurate or not, we need to address it as leaders of senior organisations. So this has become a big topic at C-suite level and at board level, and has received an enormous amount of time, attention and investment in terms of money on initiatives about how do we increase accountability, how do we build a culture of accountability so that these things don't happen. Here's the challenge, is it used to be that companies could manage their brand, could manage their image, because there was a separation between what they did internally and what happened externally in terms of the branding. But these days, the mobile world, the digital world has dissolved that barrier. There is incredible transparency between the organisations that we lead and our customers. And so there needs to be an absolute alignment of the behaviours and the beliefs that are happening inside the organisation that will generate the results on the outside of the organisation. The efforts that have gone in to generating this kind of accountability are not working. The scandals keep coming. Staff morale is still low in many organisations with whom we work. Why isn't it working? I am here today with my good friend and colleague Ed. Hello.
Hello, Sarah.
How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Good. Now I know you have a lot of experience and some very strong views on accountability. So why isn't it working? Our senior leaders are very smart, the ones that we're privileged to work with, and they've been thinking about this for a number of years and throwing all sorts of money at it. Why isn't it working?
At its heart, I believe it's because leaders, while they understand that the external brand is affected by internal accountability, they try and address that problem the same way they do any other major business issue, which is that they try to impose from the top a solution. So in short, they're trying to impose accountability, and that simply doesn't work.
Why doesn't it work?
Accountability at its core is about individuals choosing to do the right thing. And if you try and impose it, you're basically saying, I want you to operate exactly as I say. I will then judge, measure, create consequences. And then I expect you to operate as a mature adult and make really good choices.
Now, okay, all right. But isn't this what organisations have been doing? Are we not talking about performance management that we have figured out since the Industrial Revolution? And actually it does work.
It's certainly true that in simple roles, an organisation can choose to take this rather mechanistic view of accountability. They can say, here's the job, here are the outcomes, have you done it or not, and take, as I said, a very strong approach on that. The problem is, most jobs these days aren't actually like that. Most jobs have ambiguity, most jobs require individuals to make decisions every day. And what you effectively need is individuals who can operate for themselves in an accountable way all the time. And so you're trying to deal with a situation where you just don't have the control, the clarity over everything that's happening on the ground, as though you do.
What? don't have control. I can hear our CEOs disagreeing with you. Control freaks, you're in good company. What are you supposed to do? You're a senior leader, you're getting all sorts of pressure in the media from regulatory bodies about fixing the problem, being accountable for what's happening, and yet you're saying don't control it, don't do anything about it.
It's
not happy.
There's a world of difference between saying don't operate in a command and control mode and saying don't do anything about it. What I am saying is that people who lead big organisations have a history of being high ownership, extremely accountable themselves, and that can unintentionally turn to a situation when there's a problem where they think their role as a leader is to impose a solution. And what I'm trying to articulate is that if you do that as a leader, you make yourself, in fact, the biggest blocker to true accountability, because you put people in a mindset where they are limited in their options, they feel scared, they feel controlled. And when you do that, you put them into a prisoner mindset. And therefore, they're much less likely to actually operate with accountability in their own roles.
Fantastic. So you're taking the people who you most need to make good, smart decisions to affect your customers and putting them in a prisoner mindset. So they're either scared or pissed off or some combination of those two while they're making those decisions.
It's ironic, isn't it? These individuals...
Fantastic. So the solution is senior leaders who have become very successful by doing what they do and being how they are, and yes, being control freaks about the things that matter, have now become the single biggest block to their companies being able to be accountable in a way that generates the right results.
That, I think, is the irony of it all. Yes.
He said that, not me.
So the more you try to take control, the more you try to impose it, the less accountable individuals actually become. Whereas if you instead create an environment where individuals are clear about what your organisation is there to do, feel trusted, and above all feel inspired by that, they're much more likely to make choices that represent true accountability. The leaders can't do accountability by proxy for everybody. You have to create an environment where everybody is accountable for themselves. As a leader, your job is not to force that, but to enable it.